Hey church, it's great to come to you again inside of our Beyond series. If you have a Bible or your phone, open up to Matthew chapter 6. We're going to read there in just a second. We're almost done with our Beyond series, these videos, and then I know that the conversation's just going to grow. Relationships are going to grow stronger as we head and still have so much time till the end of our small group semester. I'm thankful for all God has done, is doing inside of the small groups at Faith Church, both of our campuses. And so I'm excited to get into this week's video with you. I do want to just stop right here. We're going to talk about legacy in this video, and what a weekend of legacy that we just had. I want to say thank you to everyone that made a commitment. The best days are ahead for our church, and we saw evidence of that this weekend. I know many of you haven't given yet, or you're going to give over the next couple of weeks, and I know that God is going to settle that, speak to your hearts. But just an honor to be your pastor, to be a part of a weekend like we just came out of. We talked about legacy. We're going to continue that. Really, one thought jumped out to me from the message that I want us to get a little more practical inside of, and then give you some ways to really put that into practice. But I want to read you this scripture, Matthew chapter 6. Jesus says in verse 20, "Lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." So let's start with this question. When was the last time you thought about your legacy? When was the last time you talked about your legacy? Or when was the last time, let's even bring it a little more short term, when was the last time you talked about the end of something? Maybe that's the end of your life. Or maybe that's the end of your kids graduating high school or being an empty nester. Maybe you're in college. When was the last time you thought about, this is how long it is till I'm going to graduate, or the end of being a young married and starting a family? When was the last time you thought about the end? When was the last time you took an inventory of your legacy? Are you thinking legacy as much as you should? I understand that every day these aren't the thoughts that should be the most dominant or that you think about all the time, but there should be times in our life we should live on a rhythm where we're thinking legacy. Here's the statement from this weekend's message that I want us to settle in on that really jumped out, even to me personally. It says, you die 2 times. The first is when you pass away. The second is the last time someone mentions your name. That lasting impact that you have, the difference you've made. I pray, hopefully in my family first, but on others, that lasting ripple effect, both when I'm here on the earth and when I'm gone. Proverbs 22, what a legacy scripture. Verse 1, it says, a good name is to be chosen. So we choose legacy. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. And favor is better than silver and gold. So a good name I choose today, it impacts my life today because the favor of healthy relationships, of living with integrity, of doing what's right when no one's looking. Legacy, right? Legacy questions. It brings favor into my life today, and then it makes a difference when my life is over. I want to encourage you to live out this scripture. Don't just settle for stuff, but strive to share your values. I think most of us would say the same, like, what do we really want to pass on? Surely it's more than just finances or things or watches or whatever it might be that could be a part of what you give to your kids or your grandkids. But man, I know for me at the end of the day, I want to pass down hard work. I got that from my dad, seeing him in season, out of season, ups and downs, faithful in his job. A hard worker, that was passed down to me. I want to pass down financial stewardship or real life conflict. I'm okay if my kids see that it's not always easy to navigate marriage. They're going to need to be equipped with those tools, and you can get to the other side of something that's hard. I want to pass down how good God is. This is how our faith is passed down. Psalm 145 says, "One generation shall commend your works to another. We shall declare your mighty acts." Are we thinking legacy? Are you thinking legacy? When was the last time that you took an inventory, that you sat down and said, how do I leave a good name? How do I choose the good name rather than great riches? How do I lay up for myself treasures in eternity and not just accomplishments here on earth? How do I put that into practice? Here's a couple things for you guys to think about and discuss. I love that our small groups span young adults sitting in a living room right now. Empty nesters, our classics, talking that are in a different season than those that just got married. And so this is really going to be a night of great conversation inside your small groups. And so let me give you a couple thoughts. How do I think legacy? Number one, I've got to determine my priorities and create disciplines. I've got to choose a good name over than riches. For me, this is daily about mastering my mornings and my evenings. How do I begin my day and end my day? That sets the trajectory of not only my day, but my week, my month, what I'm able to accomplish, how I steward my family, how I don't just give them the rest and give my best to something else. It starts with determining my priorities. And here's number two, I always want to renew godly standards. When it comes to having a good name, one of the ways I do that you and I do that, is to ask this question: what is beneficial to my life? Not just what's permitted, not what can I get away with. What's beneficial to my calling? What's beneficial to my family? What's beneficial to my children? What habits are in play? And I want to renew godly standards. Here's a phrase that Tiffany and I have used over the years. I want to find the line and take 2 steps back. I'm not trying to get as close as I can and still live holy or still live godly. I want to be a little more conservative in my decision making. Right? 11% of people have an addictive personality, which means a lot of us, and maybe you go in and out of that depending on the season. Renew godly standards. When it comes to number one and number two, determining priorities, renewing godly standards, here's a great thought. Number three, write it down. Write down what you value, your beliefs. Again, when's the last time you thought legacy? A couple times a year. A couple times a year as a couple. With your kids, as your kids get older, I want to ask them these questions. And listen, I'm not going to create a false sense of that it's going to be an amazing moment. When I ask my kids, what are your values? My teenagers, it's not an amazing answer all the time. It's not picture perfect. It does get them thinking, right? It's the conversation we want to lead with and we want to live out. What traits do I want to be known for? What knowledge or skills do I want to have before the end of my next season? What behaviors do I want to pass down? What do other people need around me, and how can I serve them? Write it down. I encourage you. Write the vision. Make it plain. Here's the last one. Start today. It's never too late. It's never too early. We just did this as a church. We thought legacy. We thought beyond ourselves. Our faith was stretched. Why'd we do it? Because we can see that it's not just about us. And God honors that. God's going to bless and honor the faith steps that are being taken in these seasons. His word promises to do it. But as we learn to live this way, journeys like this teach us how to live going forward. Let's think legacy. Let's talk legacy. Let's be a church community that challenges one another to live for something more than today, and let's choose that good name. I'm praying you do that. I'm praying you talk about it. It's great conversation in your small group. We'll see you next weekend for our last weekend of Beyond.